Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by TradingAcademy.com. My name is Josh Lilquist. In the last segment, we were just kind of getting into and scratching the surface about how the market functions, but how we want to simplify our strategies, simplify the terminology, simplify what's going on in these markets, because Wall Street has it set up to confuse people. And I think if you're listening right now, you're probably, yeah, I do get confused when I watch CNBC or all those news channels that are out there, or listen to the radio, and maybe even listening to the show. So hopefully we can simplify on the show here today some of the terms on the market, some of the different assets, whether it's income strategies or wealth strategies. And that's what TradingAcademy.com does, is we train everyday listeners, people just like you, how to invest and trade in the financial markets. We have power trading workshops that we're giving away seats to locally here at the Academy. We do these classes during the week, these workshops during the week and on the weekends. We have them in the evenings. Matter of fact, I'll be teaching one here this week in the evening. So it's great for those 9-to-5ers. So to come into one of these power trading workshops, simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210, but you have to do that right now. We got people standing by, and you're going to get a text right back when you do that with a link to our landing page. Make sure to click the link to our landing page, and you can pick your own date for that power trading workshop. If you're online, you can simply go to investwithota.com. That's investwithota.com. So I want to just kind of paint a picture for our listeners here, Al. I mean, if you're listening right now, just imagine your everyday life, right? You have you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, hopefully, take a shower, maybe. Some of you go to work in the mornings, and you do your everyday job at work. You have a lunch break. You come home and you want to relax a little bit. Some of you may go to the gym. Some of you may go to sporting events with your kids, or if people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are probably being taxi cab for their kids. And it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with throughout a week. And the issue that I want to talk about in this segment, Al, is people do work really, really hard. And they think, I need to work hard to be successful or successfully financially. And sometimes it's not about working. I mean, I know people that work really, really hard, but they do struggle, and they have really good jobs, high 6-figure jobs, which is kind of average these days. But they just want to do more. They want to be able to save. They want to be able to have more fun trips with their families and do the fun things outside of the everyday thing that they do. So I want you to talk about the strategies that everyday people can utilize in the evenings, because the stock market is really, in my opinion, the least opportunistic that's out there, because it's only open 6.5 hours a day. Right. And people that are working during the day, they can't really do that. But they want to be able to have an income strategy on top of that. Let's just say after they do their chores for the day, the laundry, the kid stuff, sporting events and all that stuff, and then maybe, let's just say between 8 and 11 o'clock at night, they have some downtime, and they're like, honey, I just don't want to sit and watch TV. I want to be productive. Talk about those markets like the futures market and the Forex market, especially that people are looking for income strategies in the evenings, why that's an option for people to get into and not have to go somewhere else to have another income strategy.
Yeah, and that's really important. We know, and we talk about this all the time, Josh, that the truly successful people in the world financially have multiple sources of income. Sometimes 3, 5, 7 different sources of income, but that's not Josh. So the last thing you want to do is to take more of your time and put it into a job where you have to basically be responsible to somebody else. Somebody's controlling what you do, how much you make, and all those things. There are ways of generating additional income basically from your own home. You don't have to go anywhere, and the great thing is that it's available almost 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
The Forex market, the foreign exchange market, trades 24 hours a day. The futures market, almost 24 hours a day. So if you have a job that keeps you occupied during the stock market, which is the only thing most people are familiar with, stocks and mutual funds, then what do? How do you participate? How do you get that extra income? Well, maybe you want to look at futures or the foreign exchange market. That gives you the opportunity to choose when you want to trade. We find a lot of people that trade Forex do so in the late in the evening, early morning hours.
When they have their time, they want, and the flexibility is what people really like.
Yeah, and flexibility is important not only as to when you invest, but also flexibility as to how you invest. And the assets that we're just talking about now, futures and Forex, give you multiple opportunities. Number one, to trade whenever you feel like it, whenever it's convenient for you. And number two, the flexibility of being able to participate in different parts of the financial market. The financial market isn't just the stock market or mutual fund market. The financial market, look at it as a huge circle composed of or comprised of stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, bonds, option contracts, futures contracts, foreign exchange contracts, real estate contracts. All of those things are part of the financial world. Unfortunately, most people are only familiar with the smallest one of all of them, which is the stock market.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned earlier, why people don't know as much as they need to know, and it's because Wall Street doesn't want you to know it. They have to have you reliant on them to get the fees that they charge for your assets being held in their firm. To be honest with you, if you have money or you have securities within a brokerage account, the brokers can use that money, those securities, to make money for themselves. So they need to have you feel that they're the only way that you can be successful. What we do, and we start with these power trading workshops, is we show you how the markets work. We'll show you what's available that Wall Street isn't showing you. And we'll concentrate on one of the mistakes that people make in being able to have the full potential for themselves in these markets is not knowing how to use leverage. The assets that I just talked about, futures, the foreign exchange market, and options, trade with leverage, which means that not only can you choose with futures and Forex when you trade 24 hours, but also you can have a small account that controls a much larger investment. That's leverage. It's maximizing the value, the power of each dollar that you have.
I think that's a good topic that we should discuss here in a second. But you did mention this power trading workshop. We actually have these power trading workshops here at the Academy, and these are workshops designed to talk about the futures market, the Forex market. If you're looking for another income strategy and you want to be able to do that on your own time and be able to have that flexibility to choose when you do that, that's why we have these workshops. So I want to invite you to this power trading workshop here at the Academy that covers the futures market and the Forex market. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. Text investing to the number 210. Also, you can go online to investwithota.com, and you can pick your own seat in there as well. We have these classes during the week and on the weekend. So that's the power trading workshop. Text investing to the number 210. So you did mention leverage, Al. So a lot of people are listening, and they're probably like, well, I want to get in the market, but I don't want to put all of my money into the market because that's very, very risky. Well, that's exactly what people are doing with their 401ks and stocks, because it requires to put basically dollar for dollar in the market, which in my mind is pretty darn risky. Now, you mentioned leverage, so let's talk about how you utilize a smaller amount of capital to control a much larger asset with that futures market, Forex market, and why it's so important. Even if someone has many, many, many millions of dollars, how do people get started, say, between $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000 and do that confidently?
Well, first of all, you have to understand what these leveraged assets are. And each of them have things that are specific to them that we teach in these classes. We introduce you to them in the power trading workshops and talk about how important it is to be able to use that concept of leverage. A lot of people, as you mentioned, don't want to put a lot of money into an investment. They want to have maybe a small portfolio that is their investment portfolio. And to be honest with you, within the last maybe 6 months or so, we've seen some of the interest paid, the yields on fixed income bonds and treasuries that have actually become pretty attractive for a big chunk of your cash. But it's still, even if you're getting 5% now on your cash, if you look at the impact of inflation on that doesn't leave you with a lot as far as a real rate of return.
Let's address that for a second, because people, if you're probably in your, we'll say, late 40s and on 50s, people think 5% is actually a lot because it was a lot back 20, 30 years ago. That's not a lot anymore. So that's why it doesn't even keep up with inflation. So that's why you need these fixed income assets to utilize, and that's what Wall Street calls them.
Exactly.
To hopefully do better. And that's what people want the opportunity for.
Yeah. And the great thing is you don't have to take a large portion of what you have and put it into one of these investments. With leverage, and that's the great thing about leverage, you can have a small account, whether you don't have much money to begin with, or maybe you've got many millions of dollars, but you really are conservative and you want the majority of that in some kind of a fixed income vehicle. That's fine. Take a small amount, maybe $2,000. With one of these assets that I'm talking about, the leveraged assets, $2,000 could give you the potential to control something worth $100,000.
Yeah, I like how you said the word conservative, because you should be conservative in the financial markets. You shouldn't be very risky, and that's what we want to teach you, is how to be conservative with your money, be smart with it. And it's not about working harder, it's about working right.
Yeah, and being conservative, by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to put your money in something that is guaranteed, and there are very few things like that are actually guaranteed. But it means really more so than that, it's managing risk. If you can manage risk, if you know how to look at what is the potential downside of any investment you're going to make, and you know how to control that, so if you're wrong, that whatever the loss is a very small loss, that's okay, because you'll have small wins that will offset that. If you eliminate a big loss, then the only thing that's left besides small losses, small wins, are big wins. That's how you become successful. But in order to be able to have the opportunity to do that, the best way to do that is to use these leveraged assets. If you can have $1 invested in something that will control something worth, $50 or $100 or $20, that's really maximizing the value of your investment dollars. Look at that, each dollar as being an employee that works for you. You want to get the maximum productivity out of that employee. Same thing with your investment dollars. These leverage assets give you the opportunity to do that. The other advantage with them, besides the 24-hour trading and that huge leverage, is the fact that these assets give you the opportunity to participate in different parts of the market. Mm-hmm. And what we find is that the market there isn't always going to be one part of the market. Like if you look at the stock market, for example, or the S&P 500, 11 sectors that cover every part of the economy, you're almost always going to find some that are outperforming and some underperforming.
Yeah, I think that's a topic that we can actually take probably half of a segment to talk about, Al. So let's kind of hold off on the correlations, and what you're talking about is protecting portfolios, hedging almost.
Exactly.
Let's save that for the next segment, because I want to address kind of the elephant in the room. The people that are listening right now and they hear the word leverage, right? I want to address that, because people say, well, I don't want to use leverage. That's scary. Think about this. You probably use leverage in your everyday life. If you have a credit card, that's essentially leverage.
That's correct.
If you own a home, unless you paid cash for that home, that was leverage. People use this in their everyday life, but they don't use it smart in the markets. And that's where you need to utilize that, because then you have more bang for your buck. You have more efficiency on the dollars that you have. So that's why we have these power trading workshops, to cover how leverage is utilized safely in the markets, and how you actually have an advantage over somebody that doesn't use that, because you're maximizing the efficiency of your capital. So we have these power trading workshops specifically on how to use leverage properly, the futures market, the Forex market, how to do that comfortably, confidently. And that third C, Al, is to have more choices. And that's what people want to have in life, is more choices with what they do, whether it's financially, maybe not even financially, but it's with their time. And that's what I want to, get people inspired to do, is change that trajectory of what you're doing with your time, and do the things that you want to do, not the things that you have to do. So come into one of these power trading workshops simply by texting the word investing to the number 210-210. That's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. So when you do that text message, you're going to get a text right back, and there'll be a landing page in a link that you'll just click, and then you'll get right to there and pick your own date. Text investing to the number 210-210, or simply go to investwithota.com and pick your own date there. Coming up next, stay tuned. We are going to talk about those correlations, how to hedge your portfolios, how to be safe in the financial markets with all accounts. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.